everybody. Happy Tuesday. I have come on to have a little porch chat with you today. And so, I have a few things. I have my notes of what I've been thinking about talking about. I'm going to get my hand out of the way of the lens and I'm going to try to go over these very quickly. Where should I start? I guess I'll start with the garden. The garden is doing very well. We had a wonderful rain yesterday. The sun was out a while ago. You can see the clouds moving out quickly. You can see some blue sky. Let's see if I can show you. Yep. And so that's good. It's exactly what we need. We need to have the rain and then for it to clear out and the sun to come out to help the garden. I just realized we have corn growing across the road, a whole field of corn. That's good. Okay, so everything seems to be doing really well. I have had high anxiety, however, about our tomato plants. What we're going to do is I'm going to try to give up the cages. Last year we tried the Florida weave, where you string up the tomatoes that way, but long story short, we have used cages all of our 26 years of marriage. I know one of my grandmothers used cages. I don't even remember what Mima did, but I have decided that I'm going to start staking the tomatoes and try it that way. For a few reasons. Excuse me. One of them is we started driving to church another way to give us a break from going the old way. There's like 3 or 4 ways you can go. I'm sure there's more. And we have a lot of fields around our property or community. We have a lot of farms, big farms. And we drive across past this one field and it is full of tomatoes. And they're all staked. They're not caged. They're not strung up Florida weave. They're on stakes. And they tie the tomatoes up on the stake. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And then I saw on Deep South Homestead that that's what they do as well. He showed how he ties his tomatoes with yarn. Easy enough. I don't have to buy any jute string or whatever, or baler string or what, you know, anything like that. If I couldn't already find some here. We have yarn. So that's what we're going to do with that. I'm going to use the cotton yarn like you would crochet dishcloths with, not the big Afghan yarn, but the cotton yarn. And James has some wood around back, some 2x4s. He said he would be glad to cut those up into stakes so that we can stake up the tomatoes. Because each year we have gotten a fungus on our tomatoes most of the years we've been married. And so this year I'm bound and determined that it's not going to take over our tomatoes and that we're going to have a good tomato crop. Granted, it has gotten to our tomatoes some already. I've gotten rid of those limbs. I'm trying to weed as much as possible that area so that the tomatoes, many things I've learned. Okay, let me back up. First of all, it's good to give good airflow to your tomatoes. Don't have the weeds around it, of which we have had. And I learned last year, don't let the limbs touch the ground, because that's where a lot of your fungus will come from. So that's the big thing right there. Make sure that whenever dew, rain, whatever touches your tomato plants, that they're able to easily air out. Makes sense, right? Some of us have to be taught common sense. Okay, there's also a natural way you can make fungicide, and I'm going to try to remember from memory. Take some baking soda, a drop of dish soap, I can't even think of what the other thing is. It might come to me in a minute. You mix that in a gallon of water and you spray it on your tomato plants, and it's supposed to help take care of fungus. It's better than commercial fungicides because, of course, it doesn't have all the chemicals in it. I'm thinking about my pantry. It's something in the pantry. It's something that you would commonly have. So, that's another thing. You wonder what makes your tomatoes taste so well? I have learned that it's calcium. It's good for your tomatoes to have a lot of calcium. That's something new that I learned this week. You could take your eggshells before you even plant. Take, like on one video it said, a dozen eggshells, grind them up, put them into the hole that you're going to plant your tomatoes in, and but you can also just take eggshells after your tomatoes are planted, and or calcium pills, grind those up and crumble up the eggshells or the calcium pills and put them around your plants. Also, you can take those, grind it up like you can grind your eggshells in a, like I put ours in the oven last night. We had a breakfast supper, so we had a good dozen of eggshells. I put those in the oven last night to bake while we bake some muffins to have as part of our breakfast supper. And I'm going to grind those up in a coffee grinder and put them around our plants. You can also take calcium pills or your eggshells and, well, calcium pills. I'm not so sure about the eggshells. Grind them up very well. Some people say they have the kind that has the gel in it, and mix it up with some water, and you could spray your plants with that on the leaves, and you can pour it around, just water your tomato plants that way. And of course, most people know about magnesium. Just get some Epsom salt and mix some Epsom salt in your water and water your plants that way, or you can put it in a sprayer bottle and spray your leaves. Okay, so that's another thing with tomatoes. My friend and I went to some yard sales on Saturday. Or no, Friday. We did it on Friday. And this lady was selling some tomatoes called Heritage tomatoes. And she says that they reproduce rapidly. You get plenty of volunteers, obviously from any tomatoes that would fall onto the ground. She said grape tomatoes, and when she said grape tomatoes though, she was like doing like this. I'm thinking, from all of the research I've been able to do, which is rare to find it, I did find a picture of a seed packet that looked as if they were plum tomatoes. Y'all, I am stoked. I'm hoping that, okay, my friend, she bought one for her and her sister, and then I bought one for myself, and we made an agreement that if any of our tomato plants did not survive and others do, that whatever is reproduced through volunteers, we will share with each other. So I'm hoping that all of ours does well, but anyway, it's in the ground. I'm praying over it every day. So, she was selling hers for $2 each. I forgot how many she had, 30 or 40 that she was selling. And so she was making a good amount of money just from what she was getting off from her plants. So anyway, that would be excellent. Even if it's grape tomatoes, I'll make sauce out of it. You know, I'll blend it up, make sauce. No big deal. Our squash is doing well. Our green beans are doing well. Cucumbers, we've gotten 3 or 4 cucumbers, maybe 5. The corn's still growing. We're thinking, I don't know, another week to a week and a half. it'll be time to harvest that. Only some of the stalks only has one cob of corn on them. I don't think they produced as well as they could have, but anyway, I'm thinking of what I'm going to put in its place once we pull the corn up. Some of the corn I need to leave because the cucumber vines are growing up onto the corn stalks, which was my plan. The potatoes, we have dug some of those out to put with some meals. Just sort of filling around in the dirt, pulling out some, but it's not ready for a big harvest yet. But we know we'll get some. We don't know how many still yet. So, I'll have to look back, but I believe we're at like something like $62 for our garden this year. We've already made it. So, I don't have time to really weigh everything that comes in, and so, yeah, we try to do it frugally. We could have been I'd say like $13 less than it has been, because we did put in tomato plants versus doing it through seed this year, but we've made that money back. We've been eating out of the garden, especially with squash and green beans. Alright, so that's with the garden. Okay, so on to the next subject. And if you're a little squeamish, you might want to turn this off, because some people, you know, anyway. To give you a little, I tell you what, it's almost 12 minutes for this video. So anyway, I'll stop there. It took a long time for the garden video. I'll be back after a while to do another video with the rest of this stuff. Talk to you later. Bye.